What's going on, everybody? This is Wrecked. Welcome in to another video. Today we're doing something a little special. As most of you know, today is the day that the Super Mario Brothers movie dropped in theaters, and I went and saw it with my family, the very first showing in IMAX, and I've got some things to say about it, and I wanted to discuss it here on the channel. Now, I've done a lot of reviews of a lot of different things here, from retro video games, modern video games, and even retro video game stores and where you should do your shopping. But a movie, that's a first for me, so I'm excited to talk about it, and I'm definitely curious what your thoughts are on the movie. So leave it down in the comments below and let me know if you've seen it, if you plan on seeing it, and what your thoughts are. But before we get into the review and we talk a little bit about this movie, if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It definitely helps the channel out a bunch, and leave a comment and drop a like on the video. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Super Mario Brothers. Also, guys, this is the part of the video where I'm going to tell you that there are going to be a few spoilers, not too many, but I just wanted to give you a heads up ahead of time before we get into it. So, as a fan of video games and someone who's been playing video games since, since I could practically walk, my first console being the Super Nintendo, and my very first video game I've ever played on the Super Nintendo was Super Mario AllStars, which, for those of you who don't know, is a fantastic game. It is literally like almost like a remaster of the first three Mario games from the original Nintendo Entertainment System, and the Lost Levels, which is Japanese version of Mario 2 essentially. But anyway, I have been a fan of Mario for many years. I have every mainline Mario game in my collection, plus a couple of spin-offs like Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo. So I have been a fan for a long time. In fact, I'm actually getting to meet the voice actor for Mario, Charles Martinet, not Chris Pratt, next weekend at SAC Anime here in Northern California. So I'm super excited to meet him. So I was just thrilled when this movie was announced, and I just was so excited because the last Mario movie we got in the early 90s with, it just wasn't great. Now, yes, it's kind of like a cult classic, but let's be real, guys, it's really not Mario. It's way too outside the box for me. It's almost so bad that it's good. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression before when it comes to certain movies, but I've been waiting for a high budget, really well produced video game movie, which most of us have been. I mean, there's been tons of video game movies throughout the course of history, from Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, or even movies that are based on video games or based around video games, like Wreck-It Ralph, which Wreck-It Ralph 1 and 2 are fantastic movies. You have Pixels and there's just so many. But Mario is like on the level of Mickey Mouse, like Disney level. And I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the commercials looked great. The trailers were awesome. The voice casting that they got, I mean, it was definitely a triple A, cast, with people like Chris Pratt playing Mario. You had Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Anya Taylor-Joy is Princess Peach. Jack Black, who is one of my favorite actors, is playing Bowser. Keegan-Michael Key is playing Toad. Charlie Day is Luigi. So on and so forth. I mean, this is a heavy-hitting cast. And I was, very hopeful for the movie. I was very, wanting it to do well, because if this movie does well, essentially that could lead to other Nintendo movies, sequels to the Mario movie, or even other IPs like Zelda or Kirby, or maybe Donkey Kong gets his own movie. Who knows where this could lead if the movie does really well. With movies that are based around games, if they don't do well, chances are you won't see a sequel. That's kind of what happened to the World of Warcraft movie that came out years ago, where China really carried that movie and didn't do very well in the States, and they kind of dropped the series. They were going to originally do a trilogy of the Warcraft series, but ended up not happening, unfortunately, which I really enjoyed the first movie. I would have really liked to see eventually the Lich King on the big screen. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling here. But like I said, today I went and saw the movie. It was the very first showing on IMAX, and I took my daughter and my wife, and I was so excited to get to share this experience with my daughter, who is very young. She's only 2.5 years old, and I'd never taken her to a movie in a theater before, so I didn't know how she would act. And she was glued, you guys. She plays the games with me. We've beaten Yoshi's Story on the N64 together. We're playing through Yoshi's Woolly World on the Wii U as we speak. And so she knows the characters. She loves the characters. And I thought this would be a really good movie to take her to for it being her first movie. And guys, the movie is multi-generational. Like, I don't know how else to really express that other than if you started with the Mario movies back, or I'm sorry, the Mario video games back in the 80s, all the way up to playing the Mario games now with, you know, either yourself or your children. This movie is for everybody who loves Nintendo. Now, this movie does a really, really good job of paying homage to where it all started. From the music score is absolutely breathtaking. I mean, they took all of the classic songs and turned them into just modern bangers, if I'm being honest. And it really helps with that ambiance, that nostalgia, as you're going through the movie and you hear these classic songs that we all grew up with playing all of the Mario games. Another thing I really enjoyed was Illumination did a fantastic job on the visuals of the movie. You could obviously see that in the trailers, but I'm telling you guys, the movie itself, when you go to see it, it is absolutely breathtaking. The character models, the backgrounds, the art design overall looks absolutely fantastic. It was breathtaking, very bright and vibrant and just awesome. I absolutely loved it. Another thing I really loved about the movie, and most of you probably already knew this, there is a lot of nostalgic Easter eggs throughout the entire movie. So if you have not seen it yet, when you go to see it, pay attention. You will see little subtle Nintendo things throughout the entire movie and little things that they pay respects to from the past. And it is just so awesome that I was just constantly paying attention to all of the surroundings to see, like, oh my goodness, look at that, or look at that. That is so cool. And it reminds me of my childhood. Like the opening scenes of the movie, they are in a pizzeria called Punch Out Pizza. I mean, Punch Out is one of Nintendo's biggest titles back in the day, you know, or you know, you're in Mario's room and you see F-Zero, the racing game, posters on the wall. It is so cool. You get to meet Mario and Luigi's family. And guys, it is just so much more in depth than just, you know, a plumber saving the princess. It really is. You know, and just in case you guys didn't know, I'll put a disclaimer in the beginning of this video. I just got ahead of myself. But yes, there are going to be some spoilers. I'm not going to spoil everything for you guys. But I just wanted to give my honest review and opinion on the movie. Chris Pratt. Let's talk about Chris Pratt for a second. Chris Pratt did a great job. I know everybody was kind of let down that Charles Martinet was not going to be doing the voice of Mario, and that a lot of complaints were saying, well, he's a voice actor. He doesn't have to do the Yahoo, you know, let's go type of voice, you know, the entire movie. He could switch it up and do like a Brooklyn accent or something like that. And you're right, he could have. But I almost feel like, and this is no disrespect to Mr. Martinet at all, I almost feel like Illumination and Nintendo was going with like this big megastar AAA cast and to sell tickets so that this could, you know, push more movies out in the future, which is why they got people like Charlie Day and Chris Pratt and Jack Black and Keegan-Michael Key and stuff like that. So Chris Pratt did a great job. The thing is, a lot of people were kind of judging Chris Pratt's voice acting based off the, you know, 30-second or minute-long trailers. Don't do that. Trust me. He does a really nice job. I know that Charles Martinet had some parts in the movie, and I know that they paid homage to the original Jumpman in the movie. For those of you who don't know, Jumpman was who Mario was before he officially became Mario. So I know Charles Martinet is in the movie, and you can hear him in parts of the movie. So Chris Pratt did a fine job. Jack Black was amazing. There are some musical numbers in there, and we all know Jack Black is super theatrical and over the top when it comes to his music. Anybody who's ever seen any of his stuff like Tenacious D knows what I'm talking about. He does a killer job. Anya Taylor-Joy was a fantastic Peach. Her voice just fit the character very, very well. Keegan-Michael Key sounded like a toad. He did a fantastic freaking job. Charlie Day, they all did. Seth Rogen really surprised me. Donkey Kong was one of my favorite characters in the movie, and I didn't think that that was going to happen going into it. Cranky Kong was in the movie, and there were so many other characters in the movie that you don't see in the trailer, and I'm not going to spoil that for you because I want you to enjoy that when you see it. But trust me, there are a lot of really cool characters, but make sure you pay attention to things throughout the movie so you don't miss anything or anyone. Another thing that I really enjoyed about the movie was they put a bunch of little Easter eggs from all the other games in the movie, like the giant eel from Mario 64, or the jump move when Mario jumps and does the spin and then falls on his butt, you know, and smashes things. Like, you just pick up on things like that. And the Mario Kart stuff, you guys, was freaking awesome. You know, there's a blue shell reference in the movie. There is, you know, just regular green shell references where they're using it in during the, you know, race on Rainbow Road that you see in the trailer. It is just so freaking awesome, you guys. The movie was great. It's gonna do well no matter what. I had a feeling it was gonna do well no matter what because it was such a big budget title, and everybody knows who Mario is. Everybody knows what Nintendo is, and Illumination has done some really great movies in the past, from the Sing movies to Despicable Me, which I love the Despicable Me movies. Those are fantastic. So overall, if I were to give this movie a rating, I would honestly, out of 10, I would give it a 9 out of 10. And I know a lot of the critics' reviews were, you know, pretty low, but I don't listen to critics' reviews. I don't. I don't think this movie was intended to be some life-changing, you know, critically acclaimed, Oscar-winning movie, which it very well could be. Who knows? It might get movie of the year. It was absolutely mind-blowing and fantastic in my opinion, and some people might disagree with that, but I knew what this movie was going into it. It is just a bunch of dumb fun and family fun and just nostalgia, and Nintendo and Illumination did it right. It is the best video game movie ever made, and I'm hoping that we get sequels. There are things in the movie that you will see that will indicate that there could potentially be sequels in the future, and like I said earlier, I'm hoping that this movie does well enough to where Nintendo goes, what other IPs could we make movies on? And I know what you're all thinking. We need a Legend of Zelda movie like this, not the excuse me princess TV show that we got from the Super Mario Super Show with Lou Albano playing Mario. No, we need a high dollar, high budget Illumination Zelda movie. Please, Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto-san, please give us a Zelda movie. Give us more Mario movies. Give us more characters. Give us Daisy. Give us more. We want more Yoshi. You know, we want other characters. It's so good, you guys. My daughter loved it. My wife loved it. I loved it. It's a great family movie. But not only that, if you're in your 30s and 40s and you don't have any kids and you just want to go see the movie, go see the movie. It is a lot of fun. It is really well done. It is fantastic from start to finish. You are going to it's going to tug on your heartstrings, man. You're going to remember sitting in your living room playing your Super Nintendo on an old CRT with your mom or your dad or your brother, your sister, your friends. So good. It is so good. 9 out of 10. Highly recommend the Super Mario Brothers movie. To kind of recap, the voice acting was fantastic. Chris Pratt did do a really good job, you guys. Trust me, he did. The voice acting was great. The visuals were great. The story was a lot more to it than you would think. That was great. The Easter eggs and the nostalgia and paying homage to the video games was a 10 out of 10. Fantastic movie, you guys. Go see it. please, and again, down in the comments, let me know what you think of the Mario movie when you get to go see it. If you've already seen it, let me know what you thought of it. Guys, before we get out of here, this is my first movie review. It was nothing fancy. I just had to express how amazing this freaking movie was and how much it meant to me building these memories with my daughter and with my wife. I just had to get something out there and voice my opinion on it because damn, it was so good and it's so fresh in my mind. I literally saw it a few hours ago and here I am making a YouTube video. I never thought I would do a movie review, but I had to do one for the Super Mario Brothers movie. You guys have a great rest of your freaking week, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like retro gaming content, modern gaming content. We also started the Retro Renegade podcast. Our first episode was the other day. You could go back and listen to it. We will be doing future episodes if you like gaming podcasts. Check that out as well. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and as always, happy hunting.